Welcome once again to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to work on projects with BlueJ. Please, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give a like, and then also comment under the comment section what videos you want me to do, and then any suggestions from you guys. Okay, without wasting my time, let's get into the video and start. So what we always do, let's just create a new project. Then this time around I'm going to name it car. Okay. And then let's create a new object. So this is just a readme file. Let's ignore that one. Let's create a new class. And let's name the class car. Okay. So this is a class. Let's open the car, and then this is the source code. This is the default source code of the car. Sorry, this place is supposed to be car. Yeah. So let's copy this sample code into your source code and work on it. Okay, so let's copy this one. First of all, let's delete what is here. Let's delete everything that is over here, and then let's copy what is here. And paste it over here. Okay, so we've done that. Let's go to number one. Let's start. Add two assessor methods to the class, get name and get number, that return the name and number fields as their respective results. So let's go ahead and add two assessor methods. So public assessor methods and do not mutate the states of the class. So it's going to be of type void. Sorry, it's going to return something. It's going to return something. So this something here, we are going to return the car name and then the car number. So the car name is of type string, so we are going to return a string in this case. And let's do get name over here. So get name. Okay, so get name, and then which is going to return a string. So use the return keyword and it will return the name that is over here in the fields. And then let's copy the same thing and do that for the next field, which is number. Get number. So this time around we are dealing with a car name and then car number, and then this one will return a number, and then the return type over here is an integer. Okay, so we are done for the first one. Okay, so number 2 says add a further field model to the car class to store the model of the car. This should be of type integer and its initial value should be passed to the single constructor. Include an appropriate get model assessor method for this field. So we go ahead and create a new field over here. It's going to be of private, and then the model of the car, let's say integer, and then model over here, and then we are going to pass it through this constructor here. So we will add another parameter over here of type integer, car model, and then we will let our model to be equal to our car model that we pass through our constructor over there. And then we will create another assessor method, get model. So let's copy this code over here, and then let's do the same thing for the get model also. Oh, sorry. And this time around we are going to name it get model, and it will return the model of the car number of the car. Sorry. So the method says add a method get print details to the car class. This should print details of the name, the number, and the model of the car to the terminal window. So we are going to create another method. So public return anything, so it will be of type void, and then we will name it print details, and then we are going to print the name of the car, the number, and then the model of the car. So we can do a system dot out dot print line over here, and then into brackets we are going to do two quotes over there, and then so what I did here was basically print to the terminal the name, and then we provide the name of the car over there, the number, which is this one, and it's supposed to be a plus over there, so the number over there, and then the model, which is the model we pass over there to our constructor. Let's move on to the next one. It says add a further field reference number to the car class. It should be of type string and initialize to the 0 length. So let's do that one first. Another field, so private, should be of type string, private string reference number, and then we'll initialize it in our constructor. Add a further field. Okay, so we are going to initialize it to be an empty string like that, because we don't pass any parameter here which will set our reference number to what we passed over there, and then we initialize it in the constructor also. Let's see. Add a further field reference number to the car class. It should be of type string and initialize to 0 length in the constructor. So it will not, we will declare it in our field here, and then we will initialize it to reference number in the constructor. We initialize it with an empty string over there. So yeah, and instead define a mutator for it. So we are going to create a mutator method for it with the following signature: public void reference number. So let's copy this one over there, and then let's create our mutator for our reference number over there. So with the same thing what we've been doing here, so this is it. So this is a mutator method. It won't return anything because it's a mutator, but then it's going to change, it can change the state of our class over there. The body of this method should assign the value of the parameter to the reference number field. Okay, so we are going to assign the value of this reference number, which is our parameter over there, to the reference number in the field. So reference number is equal to ref, what we pass inside there. So number 5 says add a get reference number assessor method to return the reference number. So let's copy the same thing and then paste it over here. But this time around it's not going to return anything. It's not going to be of type void. So we are going to return a get reference number. A get reference number is also of type integer. So here is going to be integer. Then here will be get ref number. Get ref number over here. And then we won't initialize it with a parameter, but then we are going to return our reference number over there like that. And then number 6 is modify your print details method to include printing the reference number. Okay, so we want to print our reference number. Oh, this is going return reference number to be converted. Okay, reference number is of type string, sorry. Yeah, so that's what. Okay, so modify your print details method to include printing the reference number. So we want to print our reference number over here in the print details. However, the method should only print the reference number if it has previously been provided. That is, it is no longer this empty string here, but that is, the reference number should not have a non-zero length. If it has been set, then print the string zzz instead. If it has not been set, print zzz instead. But if it has been set, and then we will set our reference number to the reference number. You could use a conditional statement whose test. So yeah, so we are going to use a conditional statement over here. So over here we are going to print our reference number, but then we use a conditional statement. So we use if our reference number, let's see the field here, reference number. If ref number, and then we are going to see whether the length of the reference number is greater than 0. So if we use the dot length over there, so dot length, it's already in Java. So this is like a method, so it's already in Java. So if dot length, the length of the reference number is greater than or equal to 0. No, hold on. Add a further field reference number to the class. It should be of type name, blah blah blah. In the constructor, since it's okay. See over here. Okay, so what we can do here is that we will check if the reference number, the length of the reference number, is equal to 0. Is equal to the 0. We will do something. If it's not equal to 0, meaning we have set it, we will do something. Or we can also do it like if the reference number is equal to an empty string, that means the length is 0. You understand? It is you haven't set it, you will do something. So let me use this one. We will do something. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be 2 equal to. So if reference number is equal to, if I use 1 equal to, it means I'm assigning this one to this one, but this we have to use 2 equals to check whether this one is truly equal to this one. So if the reference number is equal to an empty string, let's see what they say we should do. We should just print zzz. Okay, so we'll print system.out.println. Yeah, so we print zzz instead. And else means this condition is not taking place, right? So we have set something for the reference number. So else we'll do something. So that's something that we'll do is to set the reference number. Modify your so that it includes however the method should only print the reference number if it has previously been set. Okay, else we print the reference number. So let's copy this one and then let's print the reference number instead. Instead of printing this, we print ref number over there. Let's move on to the next one. Modify your set reference number mutator. So this one over here, mutator, so that it sets the reference number. It sets the reference number field only if the parameter is a string of at least 3 characters. If it is less than 3, then print an appropriate error message and leave the field unchanged. Okay. So over here to do an if statement over here. So if the reference number dot length is greater than, modify yourself if it is less than, if the parameter and it is of at least 3 characters. So if it is greater than or equal to 3, greater than or equal to 3, we will set our reference number to be equal to the parameter we passed over there. be equal to the ref we pass over here, right? And then else you print an error message. So system.out.println, then we print something like error, reference number must be 3 or more characters. Okay, so that's the error message we print to the console. So now let's go ahead to 8. Add a further boolean field on loan and a field loan count of appropriate type. So let's do that one first before moving on. So we add a private. On loan should be of type boolean. So on loan, and then another field loan count. That one will be of type integer. Loan count. And then let's see what's next. Loan count of an appropriate type. Loan count should keep a count of the number of times the car has been borrowed. Set the two fields to appropriate initial values. Okay. Within the constructor, not parameters. So we set the loan count, the on loan and then loan count. So to appropriate. So what do you think will be the value of on loan and then loan count? So the on loan will be set to false because initially, let's say the car hasn't been borrowed, and then we set our loan count. So if it is false, it means our loan count is 0. That means nobody has borrowed our car. So we set it in our constructor. Sorry, loan count. So loan count should be the count of the blah, blah. Set the fields to within the constructor. Include assessor methods for each of these fields. So we have to include assessor method for each of these fields. So assessor methods, we are going to retain the loan count, the on loan and then the loan count. So assessor method, they do not mutate, so we are going to retain something. So a private, we are going to retain the first one, which is on loan. It will be of type boolean. So boolean, and we will name it include assessor methods for each of. So let's name it let's say car loan, loan car. And then it's going to return on loan. And then we do the same thing for the loan count too. Let me copy that one. Please make sure you comment your code, okay? I won't be commenting here, so loan count will come over here. Let's see, loan count over here. So this one will be of type integer, and then we'll retain our loan count. Okay. So let's see what's next. Add a method borrow. This should check whether the car is currently on loan. If it is not on loan, then the method should set on loan to true and then increment the loan count. So let's do that one. We'll do a private. This one is a mutator. So we'll do private void borrow. Then over here. So it's this we are also going to use an if statement over here. So if on loan car is currently on loan. If it is not on loan, then if it is not on loan, then the method should set on loan to true. So if it is not on loan, that means here should be false. If it is not on loan, it will set on loan to be true over here. So that means if you click borrow, that means you want to borrow the car, and the car is currently not on loan, and it means you can borrow the car. So we set the on loan to true. So we set on loan to true and increment. Okay, so after setting it to true, we increase the loan count. So we can do loan count is equal to loan count plus 1, or simply we can do loan count plus plus. Okay, increment the loan count. If it is on loan, that means if it is true, then the method should report to the user and update loan count. Okay, so else we do an else statement here. That means on loan is equal to true. We want to update the user. We want to report it to the user. So maybe you can do it a system dot out dot print line over here, and then we want to report it to the user that maybe the car is currently on loan, so you cannot borrow at the moment. Okay, so we have reported it to the user, and then we have to, if it is on loan, then the method should report this to the user and not update. So we won't do a loan count plus plus over there. So that's what we do. And then number 10 says add a method return car. So let's suppose you have borrowed the car and you want to return it by invoking the method return. Okay, return car, which updates the on loan field appropriately. Implement something sensible if the user tries to return a car instead, a car when it is not on loan. So you want to create another method. Okay, so our method will be over here, and it will be of type void, and you return car, which updates the on loan field appropriately. So let's say you have borrowed a car. Okay, so here we do an if statement over here. So we check if the car is currently on loan. So on loan is equal to true, and then you want to return it. So if on loan is equal to true, we want to set on loan to false now, because since you have returned it, the car is currently not on loan, so nobody has borrowed it, meaning you have returned it. Else, so the sensible thing they are talking about here is that if the car is not on loan and then you want to return the car, it's like the car is currently not on loan but you want to return it. How? It's not possible, right? So if it is currently not on loan, that means on loan is equal to false. We want to implement something sensible over here, which tells the user that maybe the car is currently not on loan, but you are trying to return it. What the F is that? So sensible if the user tries to return. So implement something sensible. Okay. So else we want to print to the user to the terminal. So we do a system specify print details so that it also informs the user of whether or not the book is on loan and of the number of counts. Okay, so we are going to edit our print details over here. So print details. We are going to print the name. After printing the name and those things, we want to print so we want to do a system.out.print line in our print details method. So system.out.print line. Then we want to print to the console whether the car has been borrowed or not. So you do it is on loan. It is on loan that the car has been borrowed. So that means if on loan is equal to true, it will be like it is true that the car has been borrowed. If on loan is false, it is false that the car has been borrowed. And now we want to print the number of times the car has been borrowed to the terminal. So we'll do another system dot out dot print line, and then we will print the car has been borrowed. The car has been borrowed. Car count. Loan count. So loan count number of times. So loan count number of times. So if maybe the loan count is 3, it will be like the car has been borrowed 3 number of times. Let's do 3 times. So 3 times. So if it is 3, the car has been borrowed 3 times. Yeah, so I believe we are done, and then I believe we shouldn't get any errors. So let's compile it. Okay, so no syntax errors, and then let's close it, and then let's test our car. So testing our car, we want to input the car name. Let's say the car is Buzanga, and then the car number. Let's say the car number is 2002, and the model of the car. Let's say the model of the car is 12. You see, the Buzanga cannot find symbol variable Buzanga. Okay, so the reason why we're getting that error is that the car number is of type string. So the name should be inside the quotes. So let's say Buzanga, and then the car number is 2002, and then the model of the car is, let's say, 456. Yeah, so our object has been created. Let's test some of our so let's print details. Print detail. The name of the car is Buzanga, the number is this, and the model is this. So recently we haven't set the reference of the car, so it is easy. And now it is false that the car has been borrowed. So initially we haven't borrowed the car. The car has been borrowed 0 times, so we haven't borrowed the car. Okay, so this is the car count, and then this is the loan. This is the on loan, which is a boolean. So now let's try to borrow the car. So let's try to borrow the car. Wait, hold on. Let's do from top to down. So let's do a get method. Get model. So you see, this is the model of the car as we inputted over there. Get name, which returns the name of the car. Get number, which is the number that we specified inside. Get reference number. We haven't set the reference number, so it is initially an empty string. So let's try to set reference number, and let's make it um reference number is some, oh no, let's say reference number is bank, or I don't know, bank, yeah. And then error, reference number must be 3 or more characters. Okay, but bank was also 3 or more characters. Let's see. So which is 3 or more characters? Still an error. So let's go and check our code. Let's see what went wrong. So the error was from this place over to our reference number over here. What we inputted there, no, it has to be here instead, not the reference number. So if reference number dot length, okay, let's compile, and then let us try to create a new object of, let's name this one Benz. The car number is 556 or something, and then the car model is this. And then let's try to set our reference number. Get reference number, where is an empty string over here, and then let's set reference number to, let's say reference number is bank, and now we've set it. So you can see that using the if statement, you know, if the reference number is less than or equal to, if it is less than 3, it will print to the console, which printed over here that the reference number must be greater than or equal to 3. So let's try to get reference number. So this is the bank we inputted over there. So one more thing, I'm not getting the borrow over there, so let's see. Okay, so the reason why we weren't getting the borrow and the loan count and the loan car is that this place has been set to private, meaning we can't access these methods outside of this class. So let's change it to public here, so that we can access it outside of this class, public, and this place also to public, and this place also to public. Okay, and let's compile our code, and then let's create a new object. So now let's so you can see all the methods are here. So let's try to borrow, let's try to loan car. Okay, let's try to loan car, or let's try to return our loan count right now. Now we haven't borrowed the car, so our loan count is set to 0 right now. And then let's try to loan the car. So it has returned false. Okay, because we haven't borrowed the car, so the loan car is initially false. And now let's try to borrow the car. So if we borrow the car, it will set our loan car to be true. So where is the borrow? So the borrow is here. So now we have borrowed the car, and now let's go and print our loan count. You see, we borrowed the car once, so our loan count has been set to 1. And let's try to return our loan car. You see, it has been set to true now. You see, and now let's try to return the car, and then let's try to print our loan car. And now, because we have returned it, our car is not on loan now, so it is false now. And since it is false, let's try to return the car, and let's see the error message. And now you can see that you cannot return a car which is not on loan. So you can see. Okay, so that's all for this project. Thank you very much, and please subscribe and like my video. Please subscribe and like my video, please. Okay, so I'll see you next time. Okay.